Hello and welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. A dog charity predicts that hundreds of XL bullies could be destroyed as owners struggle to comply with new laws around the breed.
We know that by the end of this year, if we haven't rehomed XL bullies in our care that are suitable for rehoming, we won't be able to rehome them. And we're going to be forced in a really, really difficult situation where the only option that will be open to us is to actually put these dogs to sleep.
We hear from worried owners. Also tonight, the volunteers stepping in to take over public services like libraries and leisure centres from cash-strapped local councils. Brightening up a Bradford hospital, the maintenance worker turning his hand to painting for the patients. We meet the crafters on the coast where a hidden magical world has been created out of cardboard.
And what a gorgeous sunset it was this evening. Red sky at night, Shepherd's Delight. Find out later in the programme if it does indeed mean we're going to have a nice weekend.
Good evening. Animal rescue centres in Yorkshire say they fear hundreds of XL bully dogs will be killed. Owners of the soon-to-be banned breed have until the end of next month to file paperwork, neuter and muzzle train their dogs in order to comply with a new law. Recently there has been a rise in attacks from XL bully dogs, leading to the government adding the breed to the Dangerous Dogs Act alongside 5 others. From the 31st of December, it will be a criminal offence to sell, abandon, rehome or breed an XL bully. And when in public, it must be on a lead and wearing a muzzle. Then from the 1st of February, it'll be illegal to own an XL bully unless you have an exemption certificate. Owners without one face an unlimited fine and their dog could be seized. Ollie Constable has the story.
Good boy.
Good boy, slow down.
Good boy. This is Norman. He's our 3-year-old XL bully. When we first got him, he were quite boisterous, to say the least, but on walks he used to pull us over, didn't he, nearly? But he's great now, absolutely brilliant, and he's such a loving dog as well. He's great.
Norman is a rescue XL bully. He will be on the government's banned dogs list in just a couple of weeks' time.
Come on.
He's complete opposite of what's being portrayed on the news, I would say. He's really, really loving and really friendly.
For Norman and his owners, the upcoming ban has been difficult to sort, but not impossible. But other dogs like him might not be so lucky.
We've had issues getting muzzles to actually fit him in the UK. The document-wise, it's money, and I mean, at the moment, it's Christmas. So a lot of people are already a bit strapped for cash, what with everything that's going on, and they're now having to fork out extra money because they're putting them on a ban list.
This attack was in Birmingham earlier this year. 2 people were injured, but some attacks have been fatal. And just this week, a 12-year-old boy was seriously injured in Sheffield. For other owners, though, they have seen rescue centres turn them away, leaving them with no other option than to have them put down. This woman from Sheffield wanted to be anonymous, so her words are voiced by an actor.
I feel evil. I feel horrible because of the situation I've been put in. Because she's nicked up my partner's dad and my younger sister, it means we wouldn't even be able to get a dog sitter or put her in a kennel. It's just looking more and more likely like we might have to have her, put to sleep. If it's not the XL bully, then it'll just be another dog breed, and then that'll get banned, and then it's just a continuous cycle of dogs getting banned. Come on, come on.
Rescue centres are feeling the pressure too. As more people give up their dogs, centres say many might have to be destroyed, all because they fit the physical characteristics of an XL bully.
You can't be an animal lover and not be affected by the idea of murdering thousands and thousands of dogs based on a set of arbitrary measurements. It's not based on a temperament test. It's purely and simply what height they are.
Stay.
Ben and Olivia have been training Norman to get used to wearing a muzzle, because from the new year it will be law when in public. Norman is insured, walks on a lead and is ready to be muzzled. But some owners, for different reasons like cost, might not yet have their pets ready. Ultimately, it could mean more dogs will be put down. Ollie Constable, BBC Look North, Sheffield.
Well, I spoke to Sam Gaines from the RSPCA and I began by asking her what the charity is seeing.
We're seeing an increase in abandonments, but what we're also really preparing ourselves for is that we know that by the end of this year, if we haven't rehomed XL bullies in our care that are suitable for rehoming, we won't be able to rehome them. And we're going to be forced in a really, really difficult situation where the only option that will be open to us is to actually put these dogs to sleep. And so this is something that is already having a real impact on our staff and is only going to get worse over the next few weeks. The RSPCA has been completely clear that we absolutely want to see urgent action around tackling dog bites and making sure that the public safety is protected. But we have long said that targeting certain types of dogs does not effectively protect public safety.
And also there are so many owners with XL bullies who are very much loved members of the family. Should there be more information generally and support from the government?
Well, I think that's absolutely it. You know, that there are a lot of these dogs that are really, really lovely family pets out with really responsible owners at the moment. And these owners are wanting to do the right thing. They want to make sure that they comply with the legislation, that they do legally keep their dogs. But I think because this piece of legislation is coming in so quickly, there is unfortunately not enough time for people to get all of the information and to get everything that they need ready in order to be prepared for the ban. And we've got the first part of the ban coming in at the end of this month. So from the beginning of January, owners of XL bullies will have to have them on a muzzle and on a lead when out in public. So it's absolutely critical that at this moment, owners are preparing their dog for a life of being muzzled when out in a public place. And once we get to the end of January, it'll be illegal for those owners to have their dog unless they've got the certificate of exemption. So time is rapidly running out for people to prepare for the ban and get everything in place that they need to make sure that their dog can stay safely with them.
Yes, a lot of information to process. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you for your time, Sam.
Thank you.
Next tonight, volunteers across Yorkshire have told us it shouldn't be up to them to run public services that local councils have stopped paying for. Councils across our region have lost more than £900 million in government funding since 2015, and there's concern it's leading to some people losing access to vital services. Volunteers are having to step in to keep some libraries and even leisure centres going. Our political editor James Vincent reports.
So if we're ready, let's go. Everybody were devastated. I thought, what do I do now? I'm at home on my own, you know.
Joyce says her exercise class in Dewsbury saved her life. And then the leisure centre closed.
I just feel sorry for kids can't go. They can't go swimming and you can't go to the gym. So I don't know where they're going to go.
The council might need to update the signs here. It doesn't look like this place will reopen any time soon. Aerated concrete and crumbling council budgets mean that Joyce's class had to find a new home in the church across the road, helped by a local travel agent.
It just keeps me alive, to be honest. It's absolutely brilliant. I'd have just been sat in chair at home.
People volunteering time and money is not new. 20 miles and a decade further down the road is Stocksbridge. They've been running things here since Sheffield Council decided not to.
The community really were quite incensed. In the beginning it was so hard because we'd nothing. The only thing we'd got is what we could fundraise for. It was amazing the support that we got from everywhere. Tradesmen came forward. It was just incredible.
Leisure centres are one of the things that councils legally don't have to run. They have to look after older, vulnerable adults and vulnerable children. But they say that even the money for that is running out. So the argument is, should there be more money for councils to run things like leisure centres? Or is it OK for the community to step in and do it themselves? Libraries are on the same shelf, something that councils don't have to run. Where would Willesden in Bradford be without volunteers?
Well, libraryless, I think. The council withdrew their funding for it and I was just dragged in to help out. Been doing it ever since.
Of the 29 libraries in Bradford, Willesden is one of the 19 that are run by volunteers.
The library is a big asset to any village. It is a council's job, but in the absence of them doing it, we're quite happy to step in.
You can stay with that little shoulder twist. Well, I'll be coming in soon and there'll be about 40 and we'll be there with weights.
So some community success here, and Joyce has got her class back. But it does depend on volunteers, on top of the council tax that everyone pays. Not every place is lucky enough to have people who will step in.
I'm 81, but I want to keep going till I'm 90 or after.
Oh, what a great job our volunteers do, don't they? Now, you're watching Friday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. The Yorkshire-based parcel delivery firm promising a better Christmas for its customers after last year's big delays. On with the rest of the day's news, and the Emmerdale actor Steve Halliwell, who played Zack Dingle for 27 years, has died at the age of 77. He first made his appearance on the Yorkshire-based soap in 1994 and became its longest-serving cast member before retiring 2 years ago. In a statement, his family said he had passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. They also paid tribute to staff at St James's Hospital in Leeds and Wheatfield Hospice. Detectives have arrested 2 more men on suspicion of murder following a shooting in Sheffield earlier this week. Police were called to Page Hall Road on Tuesday morning. A 19-year-old man was taken to hospital, but he died on Wednesday. A 21-year-old man from the Manor and a 23-year-old man from Walkley have been arrested and are being held in police custody. A 41-year-old man who was arrested yesterday is still in custody. The leader of Bradford Council is making a plea to the government for extra cash for children's services, or she's warning the council will face bankruptcy. A new trust took over Bradford Children's Services earlier this year, but it's draining tens of millions of pounds from the council, which still has to pay for it.
Bradford is in quite a unique position, really. So 50% of our funding goes on Bradford Children's Trust, and they're now got a budget pressure of 49 million on top of that. And that's really challenging for the trust and for ourselves, because obviously they need to keep looking after children, and we don't have that money sustained going forward.
Testing times indeed, and the government say they are engaging with Bradford Council and the Bradford Children and Families Trust around the financial challenges they face. Now, Christmas, in case you'd forgotten, is just around the corner, and for those delivering parcels, it's their busiest time of the year. In Barnsley, Every runs one of the biggest sorting hubs in Europe, and last year the company had to apologise after customers across the country said parcels were late or missing completely. This year, though, Every says things will be different, as Peter Ruddick reports now from its Barnsley base.
Yes, the busiest time of the year for parcel delivery companies like Every. Jan is here busy unloading this truck from one of the big retailers. It's a really important time of year for this company in particular, because last year Every had to apologise for a poor level of service. Chris is the boss. In terms of the changes you've put in place then that are going to mean that last year's problems aren't repeated, talk us through what's going to be different this year.
Well, I can tell you it is different because our speed of service at 99% has been consistent throughout the years, including yesterday and right through our Christmas period. We've done that by investing an extra £40 million in this 8-week period that covers Christmas. The vast majority of that is on people, feet on the ground. Nearly 5,000 to 6,000 extra couriers on the ground to deliver those parcels. And also we've doubled our people in our UK-based contact centres. We've opened up our phone lines. So in those rare occasions where customers do have a problem, they can get in touch with Every and we can start to sort those things out.
How do people get in touch if they've got a problem? Because that seems to be some of the issues people have had with Every in the past.
There are a number of feedback loops. So if there's a problem, you can now find our phone number really clearly on the website, or you can use our chatbot on the website. It is a phone back service, and that's really simple. We're dealing with 720 million parcels this year. There'll be 3 million parcels hitting our network today. We need to be able to investigate what's going on with any particular parcel to then contact the customer back.
Fantastic, Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Now, what is a very busy time for Every and the industry generally. And of course, the problems don't want to be repeated from last year. No one wants that. Of course, the test, if you like, is going to be the next week, that crucial week. Presents like this arriving, hopefully, on time on people's doorsteps.
So yes, it's busy in Barnsley. So that's how the parcel depot is preparing. But what about us? Have you done all your shopping? Or will it be a last-minute dash around the shops on Christmas Eve? And what makes a good present? Well, Beth Parsons has been to Pontefract to find out.
Yes, I've done it all, more or less. Just the food now. and maybe one last surprise present, and I don't know what that's going to be.
Jigsaws and books in there, but what I'm pleased with, paperweight.
And is that for yourself or is that a gift?
Me.
Do you know what re-gifting is, and would you ever do it?
Yes and yes, I do.
What have you re-gifted?
Oh, I can't say, can I? Because the people might.
I've never done it, but it sounds like a very good idea. You know, the world's full of waste, and any way we can stop wasting stuff is a great thing.
What's the worst gift you've ever been bought?
Ooh, second-handed shirt from a charity shop.
And you didn't like the shirt?
Not at all. It was not my size. It was big and it looked a bit worn out.
Tea bags. My ex-boyfriend, tea bags.
An iron.
Why didn't you like buying an iron or getting an iron?
What, for Christmas? From Father Christmas? Are you kidding?
He's very practical, that Santa, isn't he? Well, what about when things go wrong? Well, earlier I spoke to Harry Kine from Which and asked what we should do if a delivery doesn't even turn up.
If you still want the item, then you, of course, should be getting in touch with the retailer and saying, this is something that I need for Christmas, ideally with, your deadline for when you want to receive it. And if you've paid extra for speedy postage, you deserve a refund on that. But if it's something that you say, it's too late now, I don't want it, the beauty of having bought something online is that you have the right to return something 14 days after receiving it, and then have another 14 days to actually get it back to the retailer.
And what if you've bought something and then the week after it's been discounted? I think we've all come a cropper on that one.
It's a bit cheeky, yeah. This is where, again, buying online gives you that extra power. But in store, you are at the whim of the retailers. And that means that they will have their own terms and conditions about how long you can have an item before being able to return it with a receipt. And so you will have to ask, but it is worth a try. And if you do that, you can save a little bit of money, but it's a little bit dodgy ethically.
And what about if you see a deal online? How likely is it that the high street could offer to, say, match it?
Well, it's always worth a try. You can haggle pretty much anywhere, even in a high street store. If you get one of these prices online, you've got to be sure that it's the exact same item with the exact same conditions. There can be specific model numbers for electronics that are applied only to one store, and that means that even though two items might look like they're exactly the same, they are in fact different, and so the terms and conditions say we don't have to price match. It's always worth a try, but you've just got to be a little bit flexible.
Great advice. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
Now we're on to sport, and Sheffield's Still City Gym will have some of its finest fighters on show this weekend in the United States. Sonny Edwards is the headline act as Desert Diamond Arena on the hunt for 2 world titles. And the undercard includes Rotherham's up-and-coming Junaid Boston, for whom the action started a bit early yesterday. Paul Ogden can explain.
Gentlemen, please. Mind you, they are boxers who I'm afraid just couldn't wait for actual fight night, which is tomorrow in Glendale, Arizona. This was just the pre-fight media conference ahead of what will be Junaid Bostan's 8th professional bout against Gordy Russ. Thankfully, security stepped in eventually and no one was hurt, except perhaps by the verbals in the build-up, some of which we can broadcast on Look North tonight.
He's the nephew of Sugar Hill, who's Tyson Fury's coach. But if I'm being very honest with you, I think that's the only thing he's got going for him. He's a bit of a loudmouth with how he's been conducting himself beforehand, before that fight ever got made. But he got what he asked for. He's from Detroit, but he doesn't know about Yorkshire. But come to December 16th, he'll soon know.
Clean hearts always win, and I know that's what I am, a clean-hearted fighter, a clean body, mind, soul.
Steel City Gym's boxers always seem to deliver verbally in the build-up to a big show, as well as in the ring itself. Sheffield resident Sonny Edwards will top the bill in Arizona with his tilt at dual IBF and WBO world titles. And Rotherham's Junaid Bostan is a name more and more the boxing world are talking about for the future. His likeability out of the ring is surely enhanced by his after-fight plans this weekend, win or lose.
It was always a dream of my mother's to go to New York during the Christmas period, and I'm very grateful to be able to take her there. So again, that's another thing ticked off the list, what I've always wanted to do since a kid, and I'm delighted to be doing that. End of the day, my mother's my queen, so it's good to look after him.
It's only a year since this modest public workout for Junaid Bostan in the middle of Leeds Market as a support act on Josh Warrington's big show. Now, his fight in Arizona this weekend will be followed by Christmas in New York with, we hope, some winning prize money to spend on his mum. Paul Ogden, BBC Look North.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? Now, a hospital worker in Bradford has been using his talents and his spare time to liven up the wards at St Luke's. These fabulous paintings are by maintenance worker and amateur artist Richard Taylorson. He's been telling Johnny Reid how his paintings came to be featured all over the hospital walls.
There's two sides to Richard, a maintenance worker at St Luke's. On the one hand, he's a diligent team member working hard to keep things running, but when he's not busy changing towel dispensers, he's transforming the wards with his spectacular murals.
Good to show people my skill. So I asked my manager if I could do a demonstration using house paints, and it went well. They thought it were really impressive, and it went on from there. We started to do some murals.
His varied creations come straight from his own imagination.
Each person that asked me to do a mural, I ask them to find like 5 images, and then I put them all together in my head, and then I just use my brush strokes just to put down my own image of interpretation of the things that they would like to incorporate.
And his work, well, it hasn't gone unnoticed.
To see them and see something different on the wall, it's brilliant, and I think it's really nice.
It reminded me of being on holiday, actually, which is quite different to what I've come for, which is a medical appointment. So it kind of distracts me, makes me feel a bit calm.
I think it's fantastic. The fact it's freehand, without any pre-drawings. It's good. We've commissioned him to do our cafe.
It's made an incredible difference to the department and to that patient experience as well, and the staff experience. It's absolutely transformed the place.
With no plans to put his paintbrushes down anytime soon, Richard will continue to bring smiles to patients' faces, one brushstroke at a time. Johnny Reid, BBC Look North, Bradford.
Beautiful, aren't they? Now, from transporting you on holiday to a winter wonderland. More than 500 people in Scarborough have been letting their creative juices flow to create a magical world in the town's library. Called Grew, after an old English word for snow, its aim is to give Scarborough some winter magic when the beach gets cold and uninviting. Kathy Killick has been to take a look.
Hello. I'm Sam, and I'm a librarian. Welcome to my secret space. Now, I've been bursting to tell someone my story, and I'm going to show you. Are you ready?
A magical transformation has landed in Scarborough Library, entirely made of recycled cardboard. Mythical creatures have moved in, but their stories are being eaten by the ink thief, a mysterious monster.
I am Panthera. Welcome to my jungle. You're looking for the ink thief too, are you?
We started build workshops in October and we've had about 520 people involved in total, right from 5-year-olds who've made feathers that are on Panthera to grown-ups who've been with Grew for the last sort of 2 years that we've done it, making more complex items. There's something for everybody, there's a way for everybody to get involved and make something that they're proud of.
This really is an enchanting creation, full of surprises and refreshingly homemade. And the whole thing becomes a massive metaphor for what can be achieved if everybody does their bit. The ink thief turns out to be a mesmerising serpent. Children visiting are asked to draw or describe her once they leave. The whole experience really captures their imagination.
When we first got there, we didn't really know what to expect. It was kind of scary at first, but it was really cool as well. When I walked in, I could see cardboard made into like statues and like that could like blink and talk. Well, it was really magical and it was really fun and cool.
So you found the ink thief? Oh, I can't thank you enough. I hope you've had a brilliant adventure and we'll maybe see you next year.
A classic fairy tale ending, spinning rubbish into gold. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Scarborough.
Oh, very clever indeed. Now we're on to the weather prospects. Keely, we both have the builders in at the moment, and this is not a week to have no windows, is it?
Oh dear. Well, it's getting cooler. Actually, this weekend's very mild, Amanda. You'll be pleased. Yeah, but it's windy, so yeah, there might be a bit of a draft. It's been a really nondescript weather day, hasn't it? Until the sunset this evening, and we've been getting some beautiful pictures in via Weather Watchers with some lovely colours, some purples, some oranges, some reds, and they're a really good indication that we've got some settled, or at least dry weather to come over the next 24 hours. So the weather folklore, red sky at night, shepherd's or sailor's delight certainly does ring true. Keep your pictures coming in. They've been lovely. We were inundated with them this evening to the BBC Weather Watchers page, but also on social media as well. Keely Donovan or Keely.Donovan. So yes, a lot of dry weather to come through tomorrow, but it will be windy, quite gusty winds. They could touch gale force in places. It is, though, going to be a largely dry day, disappointingly cloudy, I think. And the reason it's dry and settled is high pressure is pushing up from the south. I think early next week it will move away. It'll recede again southwards, allowing low pressure to move in, and it'll cool down next week as well. From around Tuesday onwards, we'll pick up more of a cool northwesterly flow. It has been dry through today, and this is a theme of our weather as we head through the next 48, possibly longer than that. I think the rain is expected later on Sunday. So the cloud will come and go through this evening and overnight. The breeze will freshen and temperatures will fall back to around 6 or 7 degrees. Let's have a quick look at those high water times then. The next high water in Scarborough will be at around about 6:15, and then again at 6:25 in the evening. So a blustery day to come tomorrow, a gusty westerly breeze, a particularly gusty just to the lee of high ground where the gusts could touch gale force. And I think it'll be one of those days where high siders on the A1 may struggle at times. Quite a lot of cloud, largely dry conditions, although there could be a little bit of drizzle across the Dales later in the day, and relatively mild for the time of year with temperatures up at around 11 or 12 degrees. Looking further ahead into Sunday, a lot of dry weather, I think, particularly for daylight hours through Sunday. So Sunday morning, it does look largely dry. There has been some uncertainty. Some of the weather models are bringing rain down through the afternoon. The latest model has it dry until after dark for our part of the world. So rain by Sunday evening. Very mild conditions on Monday with some outbreaks of rain in the west. And then as we move through next week, high pressure will move away to the south, allowing low pressure to move in. And you'll notice it does cool down through next week, particularly towards the end of the week. Amanda.
Lovely, double figures and the Strictly final. That's me sorted this weekend.
Double whammy.
Yes, are you watching?
I will be, very excited.
Excellent. Watch this space for the winner. That's it from us. Do have a lovely weekend. Whatever you have planned, we'll be back with the late news and weather just after 10 o'clock. Goodbye.